Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Vision Angling. Tonight, myself, Ben, we've got Ben's dad, Mike, one of his friends, Lee, we've got Shane and Andy as well with us. We've headed over to a relatively local mark to us, Avon Beach. We've headed here because at the moment we're experiencing big southwesterly winds. So this is another one of them beaches that you can come to when it's a bit rough and it's still pretty comfortable fishing. Tonight I've come down armed with mackerel, squid, and I will be fishing close in really. Our target for me is a big bass. I mean, you do get undulates and small eyes along here, as well as a smaller bass, normal other species. I think it's a bit late in the year to be talking flatfish. Might get the old sole, but you know, chances are slim, especially with this weather. So I've been down here about an hour I suppose. I've had a couple of casts. I'm on my second cast on a big old mackerel bait by one of the usual suspects, the dogfish. Yeah, I'd say this was relatively close in, 40-30 yards out. Nothing special, just a big old chunk of mackerel on one of my long up and over rigs. So I like to make my up and over rigs with a sliding weight, so it acts as sort of like a running ledger to a degree. So yeah, that's what I'll be fishing with. So targets and bass, and let's hope we can get back to you with some. Cheers. Hello everyone. Fishing's been quite slow for me at the moment, so I'm sticking it out with big baits. I have just managed to pull in a little whiting. Well, that's not too bad I suppose, especially for around here. He went for a whole squid bait. I've been speaking to Ben and Mike either side of me. They've both brought smaller baits down. Ben's got a third rod out and Mike's fishing with worm baits, tipped with squid and stuff like that. He's trying to winkle out the species. Ben's been pulling out pout and whiting. Mike's had whiting, pout, dogfish, eel, and Lee, who's fishing beside Mike, he lost the form back in the surf earlier on. So it's been quite busy for the rest of the boys, but like I say, I've stuck it out on the big baits and it's just not happening for me at the moment. Might go and see if I can nick a couple of worms off Ben in a minute, try out something else, see if we can just get the rod tips moving, just to keep us busy. Getting a bit boring. So hope I can get back to you with some more.
Hello. Right, well, as George has probably mentioned, we've come down the night trying to catch us some bass, but getting absolutely plagued by whiting and pout. And there's plenty of dogfish about. So it's not too bad, you know, getting a bite and all of that lot, but when you're fishing big baits close in and you're still getting hammered by dogfish and whiting. I mean, I've had 2 whiting now on a whole mackerel. So it's just trying to get them in the tide. Hopefully we can get into a nice big bass, but we've still got about an hour and a half, 2 hours of flood, so we're going to persevere with the big baits. Putting out like sort of half bluey, quite big mackerel, so I'm putting out the sort of front end of the mackerel, head guts, and a little bit of the body, just keep the bait nice and big. And yeah, just keep plugging on and hopefully we can get into a few more.
Right then, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through one of my rigs and do a quick little bait up for you. So what I've got here at the moment is an up and over. That is a 70 pound Asso Ultra Flex rig body with Gemini clip at the top, hooking over. Rig body itself is probably just under 3 foot long, and then I've got a snood running about 6 foot. That is 40 pound black amnesia. We've had a lot of people asking why the black, why the blue, why the red snoods. Honestly guys, it is just personal preference. There's nothing to it, no magic tricks, it's just what we like to use. So on the business end of this one, I have a 4.0 Sakuma Manta Extra, and then on top of that a 3.0 Black Octopus as the pennel hook, and then just one on over flexi bead used as a bit of a bait stop. Bottom end of the rig body, I have one 6mm rubber bead run down to a swivel. You see the swivel with an imp on the end for me weight, and that what makes it run along the rig body, which sort of makes it act as a bit of a running ledger in the water. So that is my rig. What I'm going to do now is show you how I bait it up, and I'm going to put a whole bluey on. So take the bluey out and then just snip the tail off, and then just behind the gills, I like to take the head off. Behind the gills there is where a lot of the blood for the head and that is stored, so makes it weep nice. See the guts come out there. Right, and then with the big hook, stick it in at the top of the head end, run it down, push it out, get your bait elastic. My bait elastic, I like to use Tronix Pro Baitex. I'll go for the heavy. You get medium and fine as well, but the heavy is fine enough for doing delicate baits, also strong enough for doing the big baits like this. So just keep whapping that round, make sure the hook point's nice and proud. All the way up. And then pull the line up with that, and then just cut the times over the line. Some people go silly over the line. I tend to find it more of a hindrance when it comes to taking what's left off and rebaiting. So I just go around with my fingers, cut the times there as well, look, and then just pop my fingers out. It leaves a couple more around there, it's a bit wide. Snap that off, then with a pennel hook, come down once, twice, and then in at the top, back out the opposite way to the bottom hook, pull that down tight, and there you have it. So you've got the bottom hook down there, sticking out nice and proud, it's hard to see in that light, and then the top hook at the top there, poking out just underneath the flexi bead. And that is ready to flick out, hopefully, for that big bass.
Right, finally managed to find ourselves a slightly better whiting. 35 centimetres that one. So I just walked down the George having a little chat. Looked up. Rod was bouncing away, ran down, pulled it in. Lovely little fish. That was very, very close in. I'd say probably about 15-20 yards past the end of the groin there. And hopefully they're all running through and we get a few more. So perfect size for the old dinner table then ones. Cheers.
Right then guys, finally bit the bullet. Went down and spoke to Ben. He very kindly donated me some of his worms. Flicked it out, 3-hook flapper. Managed to find a little pouting. One's probably about 20-30 yards past the end of the groins here. So just a 3-hook flapper. It's actually one of my flounder rigs that was in the bottom of my box, so I didn't really come geared up to fish small. But I got a bit fed up of staring at motionless rod tips all night. So it's nice to see the little rattle, even if it was solitary pout. But got a couple more worms, get a few more back on and we'll get back out there. Cheers. Right then everyone, tonight hasn't been as successful as we hoped, but that's fishing, isn't it, I suppose. The lads either side of me, not a bad evening themselves. Whiting, pout. Say Lee lost the form back way earlier in the surf. Dogfish, strap conger, usual suspects. But yeah, nothing that really made the session stand out, to be fair. Don't know, thought it was a good beach to pick at this time, especially with these blows we were having. Just didn't seem to be tonight. don't know how to say that's fishing. But hopefully we'll get you a few on the next one. Cheers.